Hello, students. Let us get started. We need to work on Project 7. So where do you find Project 7? You go into the content of your digital arts class, and you're going to scroll down in the content and look for 7.02, Work with Proportion. So click on that, Lesson Introduction, and start reading. You'll scale two images in order to change how they look proportionally to each other. You want to do the Unit 7 test video first so that you understand the concept of proportion. Planning the project, in this lesson, you'll trace two bitmap images and then scale them to different sizes. When you choose an image, you'll want to choose two images that look interesting next to each other, either because they seem like they go together or because they don't seem to go together at all. There are images for you to use in the section 6 folder. I'm scrolling down. You can even, nope, don't do that. If you can choose your own images, and let me show you really quick. If you want to go out and get your own images, first let's take a look at what they have in the section 6 folder. That's where you go into your digital arts folder and remember those resources that we downloaded in the Get Set Up folder in your content. There's a video in there that shows you how to do it if you haven't, and go into section 6. And these red images are the ones that are provided for us. As you can see, you've got the castle and the knight, and you can make the castle and knight in a proportion to each other where it looks like the castle's far off in the distance by making it smaller and by making the knight larger and in the foreground. Or you've got the boat and the fish, and you can make that fish look huge. Or you've got the cat and the mouse. And then if you want to get some of your own images to play around with, like me, I got an octopus and a seahorse and a unicorn and a rainbow and a tidal wave. Where did I get these images? They're not mine. I took them from Creative Commons. So let me show you how that works. You go to www.creativecommons.org. And when you get to that site, you'll click Search the Commons and type in whatever it is that you're looking for. So maybe you're looking for a zebra. Okay, you're looking for a zebra. And you want to click on Modify, Adapt, or Build upon it, and then go over here and find the Google images. So this will pull up any pictures of zebras that you're allowed to use. So for example, if you wanted to use this zebra image right here, you would right click on it and go Save Image As, and then find that resources folder. Where is it? Section 6, and I'll just leave the name there. Oh, this one says it's an SVG document. Whoa! How about this one? Oh, you know, the other thing that you could always do too is if it's an SVG, oh, but that's got that funny little background. Okay, let's see. Okay, that one's got a white. Nope, that one's also, let's see, right click, save image as. Okay, that's a ping image, so that'll work. Okay, so got your ping image, go to digital arts, go to resources, go to section 6, okay, and save your zebra in there. So if you want to get your own artwork and be creative, you go ahead. Maybe I'm going to continue with this theme here of the zebra, and I'm going to find a lion pouncing and see if I can find an image that would go with my zebra. Well, I might not get so lucky. Well, that's kind of cool. I'll take that one right there. All right, I'll right click on that and I'll save that one. Thank goodness it's a ping, it's a mountain lion, but that'll work. Okay, so I've got a couple of my own images that I could try using if I wanted to on the project. CreativeCommons.org, public domain images, awesome. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. So you can see here that I've kind of already gotten started. I'm just going to go ahead and do a new one so I can start with you from scratch. Remember to hit the number 5 to get your image to fit in the canvas window, or your canvas to fit in the image window. And the first thing you're going to do is save. File, Save As, and get right over to your digital arts folder. And where are you going to save it? I'm going to go ahead and save it to this Unit 7 folder because that's what we're doing. And double click on it, and I'm going to call this Rachel Girot proportion. So you've got your first and your last name, not mine, yours, and proportion, and you'll hit enter. And now you can see at the top, it has your first and last name and the subject, proportion. Perfect. Now we need to create some layers. We've already got a layer one here. Remember, your layers are under the layer menu at the very bottom. You click layers. If they're not showing up, right click, rename this one background. Okay, and then add another layer. And you're going to name that one foreground. Hit enter. And I'll probably have to click save to free my RAM to get another layer. And we're going to call this bitmaps. Hit enter. Perfect. So you've got your 3 layers. The background has to be on the bottom. Okay. Now we're going to import. So file, import, and which are you planning on using? Maybe I'll just be silly and I'll have I like the mountain lion one because he's pouncing. There's some action there. So I think I'll go with that. So that's going to be one that I'm going to use. And then just to be silly, file import. Maybe I'll have him pouncing on an octopus. Okay, and you want to make sure it says embed. So I've got my 2. Whoa, that's really big. And I can size it down though, because just scroll up here. See these? Remember to hold down Control to maintain the proportions. And wherever I slid it is way down here now. So, whoops, gotta click save. Okay, now I can grab that and move them up here. Perfect. Okay. So there's the 2 images that I'm planning on using. They're in my bitmaps layer. If they're not, I'm going to lock these other ones. Then just copy them and get into the bitmap layer and right click and paste them onto the correct layer. So we have 2 options with this. We can either you can either trace your bitmap using the Bezier tool, or you can trace it using the trace bitmap command, okay? So we're just gonna exemplify each of those strategies. And so I'm gonna go ahead and I think I'll trace my mountain lion with my Bezier tool. So sorry, I'm just trying to get this guy out of the way. And I think I'll right click. And does that let me lower him when I right click? No, but I can object lower that object so that white background is behind the mountain lion now. And I think I'll grab the mountain lion and just move him up a little bit here so he's not in the way. And I don't know, I might have had, put my 2 bitmaps on separate layers. In fact, I think I'm just going to do that because I don't want to have problems. So I'm going to click File, Save, and I'm going to right click and I'm going to, I should cut him. I'm going to cut that and I'm going to create a new layer. If you can't get that one to work, just add a layer and I'll call this Bitmap Lion. And I will select that layer and right click and paste. Now my lion's on the bitmap lion layer and I can hide that one and lock it and not be so distracted. I like to see what I'm doing. Then I'm going to zoom in a little bit because I am going to do some vectoring right now with the Bezier tool, which is so awesome. It's going to be fun. So just go File, Save, grab your Bezier tool, hover your cursor over, you can see which one it is. Select your tool and you guys remember how to use this tool, right? Just start clicking. Oh, it's not working. You know why? Because it has me in the bitmaps layer here. So I need to make sure I'm in the right layer. Okay, now it's going to work. Okay, I'll go ahead and start over. There we go. Now I can see better what I'm doing. And yep, this is good times. I love doing the Bezier tool. So much fun. Okay, so you're just gonna work on that. Ding, 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 ding. So fun. Save before I can finish, okay? So once you get that basic outline, remember that is when you're going to grab that nodes tool and you will use your node tool to round your edges. And for me, it is a long process because I have to click save after every little thing that I do. Fortunately for you, you don't have to do that. Remember that you can move those around and you do have handles that you can use that will actually help you to refine the way your curves are looking so nicely. I hope you guys enjoy doing this process. I think it's kind of therapeutic for me. Okay, got that all taken care of, and now I'm just going to click save and zoom back out, holding out shift so I can see my beautiful work. And let's see here. Do I want to fill that with some special color? How do I want to do that? I think for this project, they just want us to go ahead and do the outlines. So I'm going to actually zoom in a little bit. And I'm going to try to get some of the details like the nails and the pads. So grabbing a hold of my Bezier tool again and just getting the outlines. And did you know that you could actually just click and drag to make the shapes that you want? This just snapped. So my snapping is working. Remember, Shift 5 to undo snapping. Now hit Control Z, Control Z, Control Z, get rid of that. Let's see if it works now without snapping. So click, click, and drag it. Yep, it stopped snapping. Click and just figure out how to get that. It doesn't, it's not wanting to work right. Oh, I got it. Good. And then I have to go File, Save until I can hit my endpoint. Okay, sweet. So you can actually do all of the curving just in that moment that you're doing the pencil tool. If you just click, click, and then you have to kind of like hold it and drag the handles, and then click and drag it and hold your handles. I always have to go File, Save before it'll let me click my endpoint. So that's another way to do it. And maybe if I zoom in, you can see that process a little bit better. So this is considered advanced use of the Bezier tool when you click and click and just drag. So I'm holding it. I'm holding the mouse button down when I click. Click and hold my mouse button down and allow it to take the shape of the nail, release, and then I always have to click save before I can click my endpoint. So that handle down there doesn't look right. So this would be a perfect example of when I don't know what happened there, but I got to get rid of that. So that's funny. They're like, it's like little noodles. Okay, but that works pretty well. Perfect. I can use the ellipse tool and I can just draw ellipses, right? File, save, grab your selection tool and click on it again. If you click on it twice, you don't have to click save between times. I do. Then you can rotate that, and we don't want that to be filled. So I'm just going to go ahead and click an X so that it won't have any fill down here. And then I'm going to also hold shift down and click on the black because I want it to have a black stroke, but we're not seeing it. So let's go to Object, Fill in Stroke, and take a look at why we're not seeing it. It's because the A is all the way down to the left. Now, well, that's the stroke paint, and apparently my stroke is too big. So let's decrease stroke. Oh, look at what else is happening here. It's also, okay, that looks better. Much better. That's how it's supposed to look. Okay, perfect. So I can actually go Control Copy and Control Paste. Try it again. Whoops. Not sure what that copied, but it didn't copy that little oval. So select your oval, hit Control C and Control V. Okay, there it is. And then you can move that new oval over here. Rotate it if you need to. Hit Control V and get another oval and move it over. So be sure to use your tools, and then remember, if you click it again, you get your rotate handles. You can rotate it then. And then hit Control C and Control V. That makes another one. And you can bring that down here and click on it again to rotate it. Nice, perfect. So we've got those little paws, and we can use the Bezier tool to do the other little pad here. Bum, bum, bum. Perfect. So that looks fantastic. I'm going to grab my selection tool, and I am going to take a look. Let's see. Zoom out, hold, shift. What do we have on the other pad? Oh no, that probably won't work. I think we're gonna have to just draw them in ourselves, and I'm gonna have to go in here and do the ear and the eyes and the teeth and the mouth and the everything. Gotta do it. So I'm gonna pause the video while I do all that and you get your work done. So I just did a Bezier outline where the eye is, and I want to fill that. I want that to be black. So to do that, I just click on the black palette at the bottom. And anything that I want to have filled, I can do that. So like I can click on this ear part right here, and I can click on the black and the palette, and that would fill it in for me. Just like that. Sweet. When it's done, enter. Got those nice whiskers. Beautiful. You guys can do this kind of thing. I know you can. Nice long. Gorgeous. Looks fantastic, doesn't it? You might have to, just kind of play around with it a little bit to get the effects that you're looking for, but you can get in here really easily using that technique. Looks so awesome. Gonna get that tail. Watch, I'm just gonna click in these two spots and just hold that. That's pretty good, and hit enter. I've got a nail that isn't quite going to look right because there's this black line that's going through it. That's kind of a bummer. Maybe I need to fill my nails with black. Let's see if I fill it with black. How does it look? Ding, much better. Let's see if I can fill the other one with black and it would look okay. Yeah, I do like that. I might have to fill all my nails with black. I like that a lot. Having a good time doing it. Having a ball here. But it does take a lot of saving. So for those of you who are like, I can't get this program to work, really hope you've been paying attention to the fact that I save all the time, because program will work if you free up the RAM. Okay, so I am pretty sure that I finally have completed my Bezier work. So I'm holding down Shift and I'm zooming out, and I'm going to test. I'm going to hit 5. I'm going to test to see if this is correct by seeing if I can grab a hold of, get my select tool. I'm going to grab a hold of the lion and move him out of the way. All right, that's good. So if we had been smart, we would have just done all of our tracing on a separate layer to begin with. So I'm just going to go ahead and go cut. I want to take him off of there, but I don't want to lose him. So I'm going to go to my layers and I'm going to create a new layer, and I'm going to call this my lion original. I never like to get rid of anything, and I'll right click and paste him on there, and then I'll just hide that and lock it. And I could move it down, but as far as I'm concerned, he's kind of done. So do one of them with your Bezier tool, okay? Just because you can, and it's good practice. I'm going to save, and I'm going to grab a hold of this select and transform tool, and then I'm just going to draw a rectangle around everything, and you'll notice that it selects every little thing, okay? And then I'm going to object group, and that made it one single object. Click save, and now I can like move that around. There it is. Okay, select it, and now hopefully there, and I can move it around, and I could size it, hold down control so that you don't change the proportion. So there it is. I've got my beautiful mountain lion ready to pounce. Perfect. So the next thing we're going to do is go back to that bitmap layer that we had before. Remember the octopus? Okay, so now let's see here. Let's, with our other object, trace with the bitmap command, because they're both great tools. But honestly, I'm going to tell you right now, most teachers do not like students to use the trace bitmap command. And you can actually tell when it's been used. So if you are directed to use the Bezier tool, make sure you use the Bezier tool when you're supposed to, because if you get caught using the bitmap command when you're not supposed to, you'll get in trouble, because that's considered cheating. So one of your objects needs to be traced with the Bezier tool, just because we need to see you practicing on that tool. And then you can do the bitmap command with your other object. So let's take a look at how that looks. Well, so that lion's not going to distract me. I'm just going to go ahead and lock it and hide it. And I want to zoom in a little bit. Let's see, there we go. Now I can zoom in. We are going to go to, oh, we have to select it first. So get your selection tool and select the whatever object it is that you are doing the bitmap command on. Oh, you know, nothing's happening, haha, because it's locked. Unlock it. All right, perfect. There you go. Now it's selected. Now I can go to path, and I believe it's trace bitmap. Yes, trace bitmap. Now, if you have an image that's just all one color, you can use edge detection, but mine is not all one color, so I'm going to actually use the brightness cutoff. I click update, and that is how it's going to look. But I must admit, I'm not very crazy about that, so I'm going to, I don't know if I can, no, it doesn't, I don't know if that'll get any bigger, but I'm going to change the threshold. So I can't remember if I go up or down, so I'm just going to lower it right now, and then you have to click update again. Yeah, that's not what I meant to do, is it? So let me bring it back up. Might have to click save to free up some RAM. Okay, now I'm not too crazy about that. a little bit better. I wonder if edge detection would work better. So I'm going to try edge detection and see what it does. There's edge detection. That's kind of fun. Can try changing the threshold on that a little bit and see what happens. That's making it worse. So I'm going to go the other way. See what happens at this end of the threshold. Ooh, that's better. Let me keep going down. Yeah, that's kind of what I was going for. Much better. I'm getting lots of details in there. Perfect. I'm going to try 0. Yeah, I like that. So I'll go ahead and click OK. And I can close that out and ta-da, there it is. Coolio. I'm going to grab a hold of that octopus and I'm going to right click and cut him. And I am going to add a new layer and call that my Octo Original. And I will go to my Octo Original layer and right click and paste and hide it and lock it. All right, so got my 2 images now. I'm going to move him down here and I can go ahead and make I'm going to rename this one. I'm going to rename that my Bitmap Octopus. I've got a Bitmap lion. So there they are. Beautiful. Ta-da! Hit 5 or don't hit 5. You might have to click off the page and then try hitting 5 so that it will bring your canvas back to fit your screen. Foreground and background proportions. Remember, proportions can emphasize foreground and background images in different ways. Having a large image in the foreground and a small image in the background will make the foreground image look close and the background image look distant or far away. This is especially true if the small background image is something that would be much larger than the foreground image if they were right next to each other. For example, if you had a large image of a knight in the bottom right corner of an image looking at a small image of a castle in the top left corner of the image, it would seem like the knight was looking at a castle in the distance. Scaling the image of the knight to be smaller than the castle would make the knight and castle look closer together. All right. Transform panel is a tool for moving, scaling, and rotating objects in Inkscape using number values. The Scale tab lets you scale the width and height of an object using percentages or specific measurements, such as centimeters, inches, or pixels. The Scale Proportionally option forces the width and height to scale by the same amount. So that'd be a good idea to click on that. Using a setting with a size of 100% will leave an object the same size. Setting it to 50% will shrink it to half its size. Setting it to 200% will double its size. You'll learn how the transform panel traces. You'll learn how to use the transform panel to scale your traced images. Okay, so go ahead and select the image that you want to transform. I think I'm going to start with my lion. So I'm going to go on the Bitmap lion image and I'm going to unlock it. And I'll lock the other layer and then I'm going to select it. Okay, then I'm going up to the object menu and I'm looking for transform, which is all the way up the bottom. And the transform dialog box appears. You're going to click on the Scale tab. Click the Scale Proportionally box. This is going to make it so the width and the height stay proportional and it doesn't get skewed. Now, what are you trying to do? I'm going to try to make mine smaller, but just to show you, for example, if this is showing a percentage, so if I increase that and I typed in 200 and I hit tab, it's going to automatically, since I have scale proportionally checked, change the height by 200% too. And then I can go ahead and apply, and it is twice the size. So if I wanted to bring it down to half of the size that it was, I can change this to 50 for 50% and hit tab, and it will change the height, and click apply. Might have to go save to free up my RAM. Okay, now it's half of the 200%, which means that now it's the original size. So if I want to, I could just clear. Let's see here, file, save, clear. Now it's at 100%, okay? So if I want to make it 50% of what the original size was, I hit enter. No, I don't hit enter. I click apply. Now it's half the size, okay? And I like that. I'm going with that. Of course, my favorite thing to do is just hold down Control and transform it this way. I don't know, it just seems a lot simpler to me. But if you are looking for a way to be precise, you can do it this way. Okay, but at least you know that that is there and that you have the ability to rotate your objects from this location, typing in numbers, and you also have the ability to skew your objects. Okay, so that's cool. You can move your objects from here. Awesome. I'm getting rid of the transform box because I know that I can just grab my objects and move them like this. Or if I want to rotate them, I know that I can click on them again and get my rotate handles. So I don't have to, oh, I like that. Even have them falling out of the sky. Yeah, this is gonna be awesome. Okay, so I'm gonna make my octopus bigger. So unlocking my octopus bitmap and clicking on that layer. So that's the layer I'm working on, and then clicking on my octopus to select it. I've got my select tool, and I'm just gonna hold down Control, and I'm gonna size my octopus so it's nice and large. Okay, and then I'm gonna move him so he's here, the bottom of my page. And this isn't that fun? Proportion. Look, doesn't it look like he's like falling from up above? That is so fun. You got to admit, that's hilarious. Okay, so with this foreground and background stuff, I'm sure they probably wanted us to put like the octopus or whatever you had in the foreground on the foreground layer. I'm just going to ignore the foreground layer. I don't think I really have any use for it, but I am going to create a background. So I'm going to get an image that is just going to be awesome. So I'm returning to my creativecommons.org, and I'm doing an underwater and above water scene, and gonna see if I can find something that has like, yes, that's what I was looking for right there. So I can see it underwater and above water. I'm gonna go ahead and I wonder if I can I might have to import it. Let me see. I'm gonna try copying it. If I remember correctly, you can't just like paste, but let's see. Lock all your layers that you don't want it in. Select the layer you want it in. Right click and paste and see. Hey, it worked. I can move this up here, and I can, you know what? I'm going to have to change the orientation of my canvas. So I'm going to File, Document Properties, and I'm going to make mine a landscape. So click in Landscape. Nice. Just close that out when you're done. Now I can grab that and cool, sweet, unlock my bitmaps and grab a hold of those dudes. Nice. He is jumping out of the sky onto this octopus who's down here in the water. Yeah, this is so fun. I like that. Use your arrow keys too. So perfect. I might just take that background layer though and play with the opacity so that it's not totally overwhelming. Just getting a little hint of that water is nice. So there we go. Give your image a little bit of context. That's fun. And then go File, Save, just to save everything that you've done. And make sure that only the layers that you want to be in your final image are showing. The rest of them should be hidden. And I'm going to go File, Export Ping Image. Click the Close When Complete box. Make sure that it's going into the right folder. So I'm just going to check here. It's in my Digital Arts Unit 7. Okay. And then click Export. And once it's exported, that disappears. Perfect. So you are going to turn this in by going back to your Unit 7. And if you scroll all the way down, you'll notice there's a Dropbox for Unit 7 project. And there's going to be an upload feature here. And you will upload that by going into your Digital Arts folder, wherever it was that you saved it. You're going to turn in your SVG file, which looks like an internet icon. So hold down Control and click that one. And you're going to submit or upload your ping file, which is the one that you can actually see the image of. So you named them first and last name proportion. Okay, and then you would go ahead and select those. And then once you have those uploaded, then you have to click submit. Okay, so that's the proportion project. Have fun on that.